Hello everyone, my name is Salim and welcome to the Markets Breakdown Analysis for Thursday, the 30th of November 2023. We'll be breaking down chart and show the exact zones where price will close for potential buys or close below for potential sells as well. So looking at the daily candle for Wednesday. Now the daily is looking bearish at the moment, but overall throughout the sessions, the daily has been consolidating within the 4-hour time frame, as we can see candles printing side by side. Now only if we had this price breaking below the previous daily low during high volume time, but unfortunately as price is breaking below this level, ideally is to wait for price to break out of the zone during high volume time, because this could be just basically the price just ranging really, because you can clearly see how this 4-hour candle broke below this level, but then retraced and closed weak bearish, and we could possibly see the exact same thing happening within this 4-hour candle as well. And I mean, yeah, looking at the daily more likely will be closing small bearish. Technically, we could say this is still a consolidation zone on the 4-hour time frame. So far, looking at the weekly is still bearish. The weekly respecting the previous weekly high, and there's still a probability to see a weekly resistance to be formed around 188.330, as mentioned earlier in the week. So now to break down the chart and looking at the daily, so the daily will be closing bearish. Dropping down to the 4-hour time frame. Now what we can see here, so we have the most recent 4-hour support formed around 186.470. The most recent 4-hour resistance formed around 187.310. Dropping down to the hourly time frame, looking on the left, let's have a look. So now what we can see, we have this decent hourly support around 186.350. A level of resistance. I mean, yes, we do have this hourly resistance, but the only problem with this one is this is a small range. But let's have a look first. Let's break it down first precisely, and then we'll review it again within the 4-hour and the hourly time frame. Looking at the family time frame, going back to the recent price action, we have a same level of resistance. Looking on the left for the level of support, and that remains the same as well. More likely will be the same on the 15-minute time frame. So now to identify the no trade zone. And now looking at the hourly, for example, for potential buys, yes, we do have an hourly resistance, but the next level of resistance we have this consolidation zone on the hourly time frame. But let's have a look on the 4-hour time frame. As we can see on the 4-hour time frame, price is too close to where the 4-hour resistance formed recently. So ideally is to look for buys. Let's have actually a look again on the 4-hour. So 4-hour around this level, looking at this. Let's have a look on the 4-hour time frame. Yes. And then we get this messy range. But probably we're going to stick to the 4-hour time frame, because this is where price is consolidating precisely. So I would say the potential buys could be above 187.560, above the previous 4-hour resistance. Potential sells, however, could be below 186.350 as price break and close below this previous 1-hour support. And this is going to be the no trade zone. And now to look for potential buys and going back to the daily. So looking at the daily, the first thing we can identify is we have a daily resistance that was formed on Monday around 188.450. Drop it down to the 4-hour time frame, and now we have a 4-hour resistance around 188.290. Looking at the hourly time frame, the hourly looks really messy. I mean, yes, we do have this hourly resistance, and we have this consolidation zone where price have literally had no volume at all, and then we have this hourly resistance as well. So maybe we're gonna have to stick to the high time frame for the targets in this case, basically. So I would say the first target for buys could potentially be 188.290, targeting this 4-hour resistance. And just to mention, as price break can close above this level, obviously the anticipation is to see price retesting this 4-hour resistance, but we still have to pay attention to what price will do once price tap into this previous 1-hour resistance. And the second target for buys, now again, we're going to put a line to where the daily resistance formed around 188.490. Dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, we have a 4-hour resistance around 188.590. Dropping down to the hourly time frame, that's the same level of resistance. Looking back on the 30-minute time frame, slight adjustment. I would say the second target for buys could be targeting this 30-minute resistance around 188.620. And now to look for potential sells. I'm going back to the daily again. So the first thing we can identify on the daily, actually the weekly. The first thing we can see on a weekly, we can see the weekly retracing, the weekly respecting the previous weekly high. Now, the first thing I did see at the beginning of the week, before I anticipated to see a potential weekly resistance, is I've had a look on a monthly. Now, when you're looking on a monthly, we have clean traffic on left, and price is tapping into an all-time high of November 2015. Now, this is a monthly rejection, and this could be the monthly candle retracing. This could be the price basically respecting this rejection week formed back in November 2015. And that's where the anticipation came through to see a potential weekly resistance to be formed. So in order to see this, now the anticipation is to see price continuing bearish. Drop it down to the daily time frame. Now what we can see for potential sells, we have a daily support around 185.540. If we look, that's a decent range. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, we have a 4-hour support around 185.820. Drop it down to the hourly time frame, and looking on the left, we have this decent 1-hour support around 185.770. Looking at the 30-minute time frame as well, that's the same level of support as well, and more likely will be the same on the 50-minute time frame. So I would say the first target for sales could potentially be 185.770, targeting this 4-hour support. The second target for sales. Now let's have a look again on the weekly time frame. And what do we see? We have this weekly rejection on the left. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to put a line to where the weekly resistance formed previously, around 185.170. Dropping down to the daily time frame, and now we have this previous daily resistance around 185.300. Dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, and now we have this clean traffic on the 4-hour time frame. Looking at the hourly, yes, so I'd say the second target for sells could potentially be 185.300, targeting the weekly resistance formed previously.
Dominion Markets, your trading sanctuary.